Hi, my name's Key, and this is my first YouTube video. This is really weird for me, but being a YouTuber has always been kind of like something that I've wanted to do like my whole life, and I feel like I finally have like a niche that I can put on YouTube, you know what I mean? This video is going to be, if you didn't read the title already, which I'm pretty sure you did, is gonna be how I survived my narcissistic abusive ex. Because unfortunately your girl got in a relationship with one. Let's just get right into it. This is boring. So let's call him Felix because I don't want to put his real name out there. I met him back in October of 2024. It was my sophomore year. I was in the new school, you know. I moved from Nebraska to Texas. It was huge. We had the same math class, so he was in there, and at first I thought he was weird, and usually I like weird, so like naturally I was like, he's kind of cute, but like I don't know him, so I ain't going up to him. And it was like that for a while, and then one day I walked into my history class, sat down, and this guy that I usually talk to, he looked at me and he was like, "Hey, do you know Felix?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's in my math class." And he was like, "So he kind of has a thing for you." And I was like, yikes. I don't know him. Why does he have a thing for me? Which is kind of stupid now that I think about it, because you can have crushes on anyone and you don't even know them. I was just kind of weirded out because I was like, I barely know him. He doesn't talk to me. He didn't, like, I don't think I've ever seen him glance my way before. And so I was like, why? And he was like, he just kind of thinks you're cute. And I was like, okay, I'm not really interested, because at the time I was talking to this other guy. I just kind of moved on. I didn't really think about it too much. For context, this was a point in my life where I was boy crazy, like insanely boy crazy. Like, it was so annoying. Like, if like you talk to me, I would bring up a guy every 5 seconds. It was so bad. Nobody wants to hear about boys 24/7. Ew. I like always felt the need that I needed to talk to someone. Like, I always needed to be in a relationship or a situationship. Like, I always needed to have a boy around. So in February, I had no boy around. I was bored. There were no options popping up. So I went back to the guy in my history class and I was like, "Hey, does Felix still have a thing for me?" And he was like, "I don't know, we haven't really talked about you much." So I was like, I'm kind of like interested. I kind of want to talk to someone right now. Can you like put in a good word for me? And he was like, "Yeah, of course." And so that day I got his Instagram and we started talking, and the connection was immediate. Like, we were bonding over music, life experiences, a lot of trauma bonding, because we were both like mentally ill severely. Eventually, we started dating. It happened really fast. Like, within a week, we started dating. I know, crazy. I'm a fast-moving girl, okay? If I like someone, I want that person, and I want them now. I'm that type of person. I have an Aries Venus, okay? If you know, you know. I kid you not, within 3 days of dating, he cheated on me. He cheated on me within 3 days. Like, you can't even commit for 3 days. Let's be for real. I watched the whole thing happen, too, because I had his Instagram login, and he had no shame. He was openly talking to like 10 girls. He was like talking to this girl trying to meet up, and they did meet up, and he cheated on me. And guess what? He said it was my fault for being a bad girlfriend. That was the first red flag. There are many more to come, but that was the first biggest red flag. Naturally, I went to my parents and I was like, "Hey, my boyfriend cheated on me and said it was my fault. What do I do?" And they were like, "Break up with him," obviously. And I was like, "Okay, I'll think about it." I never broke up with him. I went to my friends too and I was like, "Hey, he cheated on me and he said it was my fault. What do I do?" And they were also like, "Break up with him." Now that's another major red flag. If everyone you talk to about it is telling you to break up with him, you should probably break up with him. These are the people who have your best interest in mind, and they want to make sure you're living a good life and loving you and making sure that everything goes smoothly for you. Naturally, I was so in love and I was very attached, so I listened to nobody, and I decided I was going to still be in this relationship. Now, after he cheated on me, like, it just went downhill from there. He would constantly pick on my looks because honestly, I am not the most attractive individual. Body was tea, hair was tea, but my face is not very pretty. I have wide set eyes and my face is kind of chubby, so naturally he was like, you need to lose weight. You need to, like, do your makeup better so I can't tell that your eyes are far apart. You need to, like, make sure that you're doing this and that and that you're wearing this. And it was just very controlling. Like, he was, like, trying to make me into the perfect girlfriend. It was, like, every single day he picked on my looks. And I'm a very insecure person. I don't think that's ever going to change. I'm still going to therapy to try and fix that. Naturally, my mental health got worse. I was so depressed that I was drinking every day. I got back into smoking. It was terrible. I was just trying to feel better, but naturally those things are depressants, so it only made me feel worse and made me cry more. So after, like, besides obviously picking on my looks, he would pick on the way I treated him. He would say, "You're not loving me enough." And I was like, I love with my whole heart. I love unconditionally. I don't know how I'm not loving you enough. And he said, no, you need to do this and that. Like, you need to constantly have sex with me. He never said that he was mine. He always said that I was his, which is insane because ain't nobody own me. Get off my back, bitch. And I let it happen, which is insane. And I let him call me his because at this point in time, I had no self-respect. I was letting this man cheat on me left and right. He was making sure I wasn't cheating on him because if I did, then he would go absolutely ballistic. And so I just kind of dealt with it. He never wanted to do anything with me besides have sex. He didn't want to do much in the way of anything. And honestly, I'm the type of person who thinks sex is a chore. I'm gonna be so honest, sex is a chore to me. I've never really had sex that I truly enjoyed. I naturally started to feel used. I felt like I was a punching bag. I felt like I was the thing that was making him feel better in life. And honestly, I kind of liked it. I thought I was doing him a big favor. I thought I was saving him from himself. I thought that I was doing what was right. And like all narcissistic abusers do, he isolated me. It was kind of like in a way where it's like, oh, I would tell him, oh, all my friends hate you. They say I should break up with you. And he was like, fuck your friends. Why are you even friends with them if they're not supporting your relationship? I thought he was right. I was like, why am I friends with these people? They don't have my best interest in mind, even though they absolutely did. I just was so blindsided at the time and thought that they just wanted me to not be happy and not be in a relationship. My friends constantly heard about how he was cheating on me almost daily, and they were pissed. They stopped talking to me because I was letting this guy cheat on me and I wasn't listening to them. And they noticed that I was becoming different. Like, I was becoming more mad at them because they were telling me to break up with him. And my parents were also mad at me. They stopped talking to me at dinner. They stopped asking me to do chores. They stopped talking to me because I also wasn't listening to them. And they were mad at me for staying with the guy who was treating me like shit. I felt like I had nobody. And the one person I had was Felix. And he was treating me terribly. So I felt very alone. The loneliest I've ever felt in my entire life. One day, I decided I was gonna go to the other side of the world. I was gonna end my life. What I did was I locked myself in the bathroom, but I have an Amazon Alexa, so I could like make announcements on that throughout the entire house through the Alexas. And so I made an announcement. I said, goodbye, I love you all. And I could hear my parents running upstairs immediately. They were banging on the door. They were like, Kira, are you still there? Kira, are you with us? And they had to get a key and unlock it. And it was like a good 15 minutes of this going on. And they opened the door and immediately ran to my side. Immediately. They were like, Kira, please stay with us. Kira. Like, I'm kind of getting emotional thinking about it. And the police came and they took me to the hospital and everything. And I remember on the way to the hospital, this lady worker sat next to me and held my hand, and she was like, I know where you're coming from. I've been exactly where you are. You are not alone, and you are so much stronger than you think you are. And I just think about that. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. And I just think about that a lot. Just that one sentence alone, it made me feel less alone, and like people cared. And that I really shouldn't have tried to end anything. Sorry, I'm getting really emotional. This is a hard topic. After that, I still went back to him. I can't really tell you why because I don't know. I wish I knew. But after I told him, hey, I attempted suicide because you made me feel like shit and isolated me from people, he immediately sent me photos of him cutting himself. Then he messaged me, you know what? I'm gonna kill myself. You know what? Because you make me feel like shit, because you're isolating me from everybody. He basically took my story and made it his and pointed the finger at me. I felt so guilty. I was like, I'm gonna make my boyfriend kill himself. He's going to kill himself because of me. I told him, this is not okay. I'm going to have to leave you. I don't like the way you're treating me, and I don't deserve this. And immediately he was like, no, I love you so much. Like, no one's ever treated me this way before. No one's ever loved me as much as you loved me. And immediately, like, switched up. Like, he took that hate, threw it away, and returned it with love. Like, almost immediately. And I fell for it every single time. This happened, like, about, like, 50 times over the course of a month. It literally took my mom to take my phone away for about a month and block everything I had him on for me to move on. It was a very emotional relationship. I'm so glad that it's all over now because I feel a lot safer. I feel a lot more cared for. I feel less lonely. And that experience really like showed me who's there for me, who's not there for me, and who is going to support me and love me forever. I am so grateful for my mom for standing up for me and blocking him and doing all of the shit that I was so mad at her for, because it truly saved me. I feel so much more worthy, and I feel like I do have a purpose. And now I have a very lovely boyfriend who loves me and supports me and has shown me so much love that I never thought was possible. So, Cliff, I love you so much. Thank you for always loving me. So, that's going to be the end of the video. I don't really have much other to say. I kind of like left some things out because I'm a kind of a private person and I don't like to put everything out there. I hope this video makes you feel less alone and lets you know that you can get through anything. Thank you so much. Bye.